I don't know if writing this down will make me feel better, or just get me in more trouble. But I have to try. Because I can't stop thinking about what happened to my roommate. Or maybe I should say, the roommate that nobody else remembers. When I moved into the dorms my freshman year, I wasn't expecting much. The building was old, with flickering fluorescent lights in the hallways and the faint smell of mold no matter how many air fresheners people plugged in. The kind of place that made you wonder how long it had been standing. My room was on the 4th floor, and I was assigned a roommate named Lena. At first, she seemed normal enough. Quiet, pale, maybe a little socially awkward. She had dark circles under her eyes, like she hadn't slept in weeks. She always wore long sleeves, even when it was hot, and carried a small black notebook that she scribbled in constantly. I tried to start small talk, but she never said much. Just nodded, or gave one-word answers. The first few days were uneventful, but then little things began to feel off. I'd hear her whispering at odd hours, sometimes so faint I wasn't sure if I imagined it. Once, I woke up to find her sitting upright in bed, staring at the corner of the room with wide, unblinking eyes. Her lips moved, whispering words I couldn't understand. The air felt colder that night, heavy and unnatural, as though something invisible was pressing down on the room. She had strange habits too. She never ate in the cafeteria, only brought minimal food from home. She always locked her drawer before leaving the room. And at night, she would stay up scribbling frantically in that black notebook. At first, I assumed it was journaling, but soon the entries began to feel sinister. One night, curiosity got the best of me. Lena left the drawer slightly ajar. I shouldn't have looked. Inside were torn photographs with faces scratched out and old newspaper clippings about missing students. Some were from our state, some from other campuses across the country. My chest tightened as I read the headlines: local student vanishes without a trace. Parents beg for answers after mysterious disappearance. I shoved everything back, slammed the drawer, and promised myself I wouldn't look again. But once you see something like that, you can't unsee it. The whispers got louder. One night, I woke to Lena shaking violently in bed, her whispering turning into a guttural, inhuman chant. It wasn't English, or any language I recognized. I froze under my blanket, too terrified to move. The air was ice cold, my breath fogging as if the warmth had been sucked out of the room. When I peeked out, she was still. Her eyes closed, but the unease lingered. The next morning, she was gone. Her bed was perfectly made, her belongings vanished, the drawer empty. It was like she had never existed. I ran to the resident advisor, asking if they knew where Lena went. They stared at me blankly. Who? They asked. I explained, and they shook their head. You don't have a roommate. That bed's been empty since move-in. I laughed nervously, thinking it was some kind of joke, but no one laughed with me. I asked other students. Same answer. Blank stares, confused shrugs. Some even seemed annoyed, saying I was trying to freak them out. But I knew I wasn't crazy. Lena was real. I had lived with her. I tried to find proof. Emails from housing, roommate assignments gone. My phone photos with Lena? All static where she should have been. Then, the notebook appeared on my desk. I swear it wasn't there before. Inside, Lena's handwriting filled the pages, messy and frantic. She wrote about feeding it, about keeping the deal, about feeling watched by something she couldn't name. She described nights when she couldn't sleep because there was something in the corner of the room, waiting. Some entries were just lists of times and places: 3:13 a.m., shadow at window, footsteps outside door, it saw me in the mirror. The last few pages were almost illegible. Over and over, the line, it likes roommates. It always takes one. And then, if you're reading this, it's already watching you. After that, everything escalated. I began feeling watched constantly. Shadows moved where they shouldn't. Once, I walked past the empty hallway outside our dorm and swore I saw Lena standing at the far end, pale and motionless, her head tilted like she was studying me. I blinked. She was gone. I tried to leave the dorm, but every time I looked up at the windows, I thought I saw her face pressed against the glass, staring down at me. The whispers came back. They weren't Lena's anymore, they were mine. My own voice, echoing in words I couldn't understand. I started recording myself at night. The footage showed hours of silence, then at exactly 3:12 a.m. Dozens of overlapping whispers, and a pale figure leaning over me. One night, I saw writing appear on the mirror in my own breath fog, "Your turn." I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. My friends began to forget small things about my classes, my schedule, even that I existed in the dorm. I felt myself fading from reality, like I was next. Then came the visions outside the dorm. Campus legends of a vanished student flashed through my mind. Students whispered about a girl who disappeared decades ago, whose name they never spoke aloud. Some said she haunted the dorms, taking roommates as her replacements. I laughed at first, but now I wasn't so sure. I avoided the dorm, stayed in the library, but even there I felt her. Shadows in the stacks, whispers behind closed doors. My reflection in the computer screens sometimes showed her instead of me, pale, wide-eyed, scribbling in a black notebook. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. Lena didn't just disappear, she was taken, and now it wants me. If I vanish, don't believe them when they say I never existed.